So the juxtaposition of these two bottles should immediately have the viewer a little bit suspicious. What I have here is a blend of rums from Jamaica. Arguably the best place in the world at the moment to make rum, at least molasses-based rum. 5 years old versus a bottling from a new distillery that basically has never ever seen any time in oak, properly speaking. A distillery from South Africa distilling cane juice. So what the heck is going on here? You have to suspect either I am going to use this Jamaican monster to crush an up-and-coming craft distillery that cannot live up to its promise, or I might be using this standard in order to show just how good this newcomer is. We shall see which of those possibilities is, if any, is realized in the course of this video. So what do we got? Compagnie. Oh, there we go. Des Indes from France. I totally messed up that pronunciation. This independent bottlers of rum. This is their Jamaica Navy Strength 5-year-old. It's not actually Navy Strength, so I'd hate to do the lecture again, but basically 57% alcohol is, in the British system, full proof, 100 proof. Gunpowder proof, that is the proof at which alcohol lights on fire. You do not want fiery alcohol on a ship going, a seagoing vessel, because you don't want your ship catching on fire. Proper Navy strength is just below that. You want it as strong as possible and not actually able to catch on fire. So it's 54.5 if you care. But nevertheless, they've called it their Navy Strength Jamaica. They are saying it is a blend from the best Jamaican distilleries aged in ex-bourbon barrels for a minimum of 5 years. Okay, so they're not telling us if it's all pot distillate, and they're not telling us how many distilleries and which they are, but it's all from Jamaica in any case, and all ex-bourbon. And against that, we've got Moba from South Africa. Relatively recent distillery, founded. So the owner, Robert Greaves, has been doing weird experiments, for lack of a better word, down there since I guess 2012 or so. But this is from his current setup, which is this. The pot still setup in Moba looks like something out of a Lovecraft novel. It's these 3 squat, tiny pot stills. I don't even know how they're set up. Heated by oil. It's a very distinctive sort of setup, and they're distilling pure cane juice, local juice, with varying distillation times, but they can do long fermentation times. And so this in particular bottling is a blend of one of their high ester unaged rums, with about half and half with a lower ester rum that has been aged not in a barrel, but in basically a glass bottle with some oak staves stuck inside. So what are they calling this? Select Reserve Glass Cask Rum, plus their high ester rum. So really technically has never seen time in a barrel, but still has some wood influence. They have bottled this at, so the blender for this was a gentleman named Mhoba Strand. Apparently has a history in rum. I don't really know him that well, but apparently has a little bit of a history. And it is named in his honor. This is the Mhoba Strand 101 degrees, Pure Single Sugarcane Rum. And if you look closely at the bottle, there is actually a little, I don't know if you can see that, like a little strand hanging off of it. I think they were trying to be cute. And it works. I like this bottling and this design very much. What else to say? So it's about, apparently Mr. Strand experimented with a couple of things, and his favorite was basically half and half of the low ester staved stuff and the high ester totally unoaked stuff. Cane juice based, long fermentation with like 3 weeks or something with the high ester offering. So should be serious, but is it serious enough to take on a blend of Jamaican stuff? We shall see. All right, the Jamaican Navy Strength 5-year-old. No idea what batch this is, but I would guess probably bottle 2017, 2018 or so. On the nose. It's quite dirty on the nose, neat, which I like. There's a filthy quality to this, like dirty laundry, but also a floral element to this, as if you just poured laundry detergent on your dirty laundry. And that signature reminds me a lot of Moni Musk, of Clarendon. I would be shocked if there wasn't a big, keeping component of Clarendon in this. But there's also, if you dig a little bit deeper, there is a distinctive kind of Turkish delight quality to this. Turkish delight and sun-dried tomato, really, which are markers for me of Worthy Park. Yeah, so just on the nose, I mean, there could be other stuff in here. I am guessing that those are the two dominant rums in this, Worthy Park and Clarendon. Is there, I mean, and most of this smells pot distilled. If there's a column distillate element in this, it's not showing up on the nose. There's a subtle sweetness to this, but it isn't that sort of whipped creamy element that I get from pot distillate, or from column distillate, I'm sorry. And if there's other distilleries in this beyond Clarendon and Worthy Park, still those feel like the most dominant signatures. I'm getting, dirty laundry, the floral note that I sometimes get in Clarendon's. Tar, fennel, black olives. Some interesting banana notes, like burned banana, but at the same time like rotting banana, like rotting banana peel, really. The floral notes, that kind of like dryer sheet, laundry detergent note, but it's not out of whack. This really reminds me of kind of like a better Smith and Cross on the road, a more refined Smith and Cross. But then there are those like those Worthy Park notes, the sun-dried tomato, the Turkish delight, a kind of confectionery note, some like vanilla toffee, tea notes, English breakfast tea, and a little bit of a coffee note, like a one shot of espresso. If anyone still pulls singles out there. It's nice. It's very distinctively Jamaican. There's a little bit of like a smoked cask note on this. I imagine this is mostly continentally aged, if not entirely continentally aged. It doesn't feel like, it's the oak is so powerful as to have been, 5 years tropical aging. That would have been a hell of a lot of oak. It's a little bit more subtle than that, and it's but I am still sort of getting like that oak charry note on the palate. Yeah, I would be shocked if this was. I don't know if it's 100% pot distillate, but I would guess at least 90 or so. Salted black licorice. Salted toffee, salted vanilla toffee, if there is such a thing. English breakfast tea again. A lot of black pepper. A lot of barrel char, barrel ash, black pepper, banana peel, black olives. Not so laundry driven this time. The floral notes are more just like dried flowers. But then, rolling in, kind of in the background right now, but Definitely there is the Turkish Delight sun-dried tomato note, some gunpowder, kind of like a autumn leaves kind of note. Yeah, like autumn leaves. Maybe they're like you're starting a fire. They're starting to smoke a little bit. Maybe like a little bit of like a rubbery note, like an old, like exactly one old bike tire that's also on fire. And as unsurprising as this might sound, I'm getting some blackstrap molasses. I mean, I know that's what you expect to find on rum. I actually get it far less often on rum than you would really expect, but this time I'm getting some blackstrap. Yeah. Very good. Very, I mean, the balance between the dirty, filthy kind of fermentary notes and those sort of delicious confectionery notes and the pepperiness and the ash from the cask. It's very well, harmonized. Ooh, one more squirt, or like half a squirt. Try that one more time. I'm adding water to try to get to the point where the alcohol isn't, kicking me in the teeth quite as much, and I can get a little bit more of a sense for how the spirit is laid out. It also just puts it under pressure a little bit and helps me gauge what happens when you put it under pressure, because that should be part of the reviewing process, not just first impressions. All right, so that is Jamaica. Very good showing. I like this rum very much so far. We'll come back to it in a minute. But meanwhile, let's try the newcomer from Moba in South Africa. Cane juice based this time. This is batch, there's a batch number on this. This is 2019 S5. So, presumably from 2019, right? Bottled at 101 British proof, which is 58% alcohol. Hold on. On the nose, just a radically different beast from the first one. Totally different beast. Really from anything else I can think of. The closest point of comparison might be a Claren or something. But this just feels so much more, precise and clinical than a Claren is. Chiseled is the word, but the character that's been chiseled down to is extremely pungent and rude. I love how rude this is. It's very calculated in its rudeness. It's like punk rock at its best. So we're getting hot glue. We're getting nail polish remover. Some stewed tomatoes. We're getting both. I thought the sort of worthy parky element in the Jamaica was prominent. This is absolutely burying that in tomatoes. So we're getting both stewed San Marzano. We're throwing some green tomatoes in there too. There's like a gasoline thing going on, more like exhaust from an old 70s car that hasn't been tuned properly. So it's just spitting gasoline out the back end and out the exhaust pipe for fun. Like just rotting fruit compost, green olives, brine, a little hint of there's a little oak coming through, a little American oak. We're getting some vanilla coconut, but way in the background, just kind of providing some color. There's a note I initially got, first I articulated anyways, on the Hamden DOK, the DOC, which is a kind of like floral minerality. flowers that feel like they're rocks or rocks that feel like they're flowers, that kind of interplay. I'm getting that here. I'm getting a kind of floral minerality. There's a Smarties candy note in this. There's something about this reminds me of Sauvignon Blanc, but it's not like New Zealand. This is more like So if you go to the weirder ends of the dessert wine section, you might find some dessert Sauvignon Blanc, Noble Rot Sauvignon Blanc out there. From Bordeaux or from elsewhere in southwest France. That's kind of what I'm getting. Is I'm getting a little bit of dessert Sauvignon Blanc, those crazy gooseberry aromatics kind of coming in. But I mean, it's just it feels like kind of rotten and funky, and I absolutely love it. Beyond that, words are kind of failing me on this. This is a very, very extreme nose, and it feels very calculated to be that way. This is not an accident of nature. This was, this is a monster of design, and I appreciate that. I mean, 3-week-long fermentation times for the high ester component of this, and the high ester component of this, make no mistake, is absolutely ruling it right now. On the palate, though. Oh. First of all, it's very good. Second of all, it's much more traditionally rummy than on the nose. The oak is, I wouldn't say dominant, but it's coming through a lot more. And it's kind of giving everything this kind of vanilla, toasted coconut, kind of a creme brulee, but no, not like creme brulee, but you just didn't stop toasting it, so like totally burned, ashy creme brulee. Black pepper, like those components are all there, and coming forward more on the palate, but especially on the finish, we're getting this sort of gluey, varnishy, stewed tomatoes components, some wet grass, compost, olives, lots of olives, seawater, gunpowder, fennel, that floral minerality thing, mineral florality, whatever. That interplay. It works really, really well. The interaction between the spirit and just the oak kind of giving it a cushion. There's a little bit of a like a Virginia flake tobacco note coming through. Kind of cakey element, almost like a pineapple cake, like a pineapple upside down cake. So we're talking, classic Southern cooking here. Wow, that's very good. That is extremely good. All right, let's see what happens when I add some water to it. 3. I know this needs 5. I'm not even gonna stop before I get to 5. We're good. Oh. Something like Rivers, which I just reviewed, has maybe more power to it, more heft. But I mean, there is an intention behind this. It doesn't feel like a thing of nature. It feels like glorious, glorious cane juice fermentation, distillation artifice, and I kind of appreciate that. Anyhow, I'm going to shout about the Moba for the moment, and we're going to go back to our Compagnie des Indes with a little bit of water now. So still dirty, And actually, there's quite a bit of ash now, more ash than before. But the main effect is the oak and the Worthy Park coming out. I had thought initially that maybe the Clarendon element was, just more dominant. But actually now I wonder if they're more like 50-50, and which just depends on the mood of the rum, which is coming out. I mean, still dirty, but just like now pillowy soft. Peppery, caramelly. In some ways, it reminds me of the aficionados, the Triple X number 5. But it just has those extra peppery, dirty elements to them added by the Clarendon. I think I like this a little bit better. Maybe it's like a step up from that. Very good. Very well calculated. Maybe that's the theme here. Both of these feel very well calculated in their own kind of genres. On the palate for this Jamaica. Mm-hmm. Kind of the same story. Still grungy, but gets more delicious. So we're getting peppery, dirty, rubber burned, delicious rum caramel is kind of the story, with a lot of salt added in there. It's kind of like, just this great little balanced, this harmony between sweet and savory. This is really versatile. I mean, you could, absolutely sip this all day long. But you could use this as you would use Smith and Cross. You could use this as the backbone, the foundation of a zillion different cocktails. This is really, really well made. I would give this an 85 plus. The plus is because it really behaves well with water. It just, when something develops meaningfully and well, when I add water to it, I mean, that's always a good sign for me. If it stays the same, or if it gets worse, sometimes I don't mind, but, it's not necessarily a good thing. All right, moving on. Maybe not moving on quite yet. Oh, that's good rum. Yeah. I don't think these are necessarily, what's in this isn't necessarily representing the most extreme and, quality at all costs, character at all costs, examples of Jamaican rum, but damn, it's good anyhow. Back to the Moba. Now with enough water to, bring it down to reasonable drinking strength. Ooh. That's interesting. So, how do I? Let me nose this one more time while I think of a way to describe this. Still very tomatoey, and very, it's hard for me to say fruit forward because the fruit involved here is so stinky and rotting. But, tomatoey and fruit forward. But it's much more measured as well. And kind of just dark. It smells dark. There's more black pepper and more like fennel, black olive. I mean, this is gonna sound weird, but in some ways, this reminds me of like young Bordeaux, like you just popped $100, 2018 Saint-Emilion that really should be aging for another, 20 years, and you're just smelling darkness. It smells tight. There's a lot there, though. And there's a lot of salt, kind of minerality. This is really well-made stuff. Right on the palate with the Moba, now with a little bit of water. Okay, that just put it over the top for me. Out of nowhere. I mean, so initially, the fun of this, on first contact, neat. the fun of this is how wacky it is, right? Just how out there some of the flavors are, and how how extreme it is, right? But with water, this suddenly becomes, out of nowhere, this suddenly becomes just impeccably balanced and very, very drinkable, actually. Insanely drinkable, really. For the characters, the flavors that are involved here. I mean, if I just came up to you and was like, okay, I've got a thing and it's like peppery, vanilla, tomatoes, and olives, you would not say, oh, that sounds like something I would want to drink all night. But this is something I would totally drink all night. This is some next level shit. What I'm getting here is, some of the wildness going on in Claren or Rivers, or those very rustic styles of cane juice rum, combined with the intentionality of the best of Jamaican rum making, combined with a very, very limited introduction, a very controlled introduction of kind of oaky deliciousness. And the results are this is really good. This is great. This is deep into greatness. I'm gonna give this 91 points. I'm going there. And this is not, like, I like this Jamaica a lot. Like, this is great. Like, go out and grab this Jamaica. But the Moba is on a different level. I was not expecting this to be this good, but here we are, right? So yeah, that's kind of what we got. 85 plus, really good. Moba, 91 points, and I'm just gonna lay that out there. And it feels like they can just go up from here. I'm really curious to see where the folks in where Mr. Greaves and the rest of the folks down there take this, because this is an extremely impressive showing. Well done. And as for this video, I hope it was educational, and thanks for watching, and cheers.